said, the hashtag says a lot. Break the bias. So before we start talking about this superb hashtag, I will request you all to just quickly give a small introduction about yourself. I would like to start with Nidhi ma'am.
Hi, good evening. You just heard me before. I'm a dealer principal of MG Mumbai here. Been working over last 15 years in the auto industry and hopefully for many, many years more.
Hi, good evening. Heartiest congratulations to all the winners today. This is Maria Samuel, Director of Gulmarg Ski Academy, the only academy in India reintroducing winter sports. Myself being a skier and also an entrepreneur doing varied businesses. So thank you very much and it's a pleasure to be here.
Hello, good evening everyone and congratulations to all the winners. I am Jutikaa Mahanta. I am the founder of Bollywood Couch. We are an entertainment portal. We run our own social media and PR wing. I also work as a consultant for a Japanese MNC. I'm also a community worker. So I am into cultural exchange and literacy exchange. And I'm so glad to be here today. I look forward to share my journey as well as I look forward to hear all your journeys as well. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Radhika Mundra. I am the founder and owner of Pajama Party. It's a nightwear brand for women and kids. I come from a textiles manufacturing family, and so I feel like fashion and business both are in my blood. I am really looking forward to sharing my journey with everyone here. Thank you for having me.
Radhika, before I start, I would like to know how was the whole event till now? You were part of this. What would you like to say about this Awards Women Iconza Award 2022? What are your takes about this evening?
I just want to say that this is, it's a great initiative. I think women in all fields must be lauded for their efforts because I feel like we don't have it easy. So any opportunity that you take to, for such commendable women, that's really, it's a great initiative and I'm so glad I'm here. Thank you so much.
Well, Jutikaa ma'am, if I ask you, tonight we honored so many wonderful ladies. They all were not from the same field, from different fraternity all over India have joined us, and it was such an honor to have everyone here under one roof. What would you like to say about this whole idea, about this evening?
The uniqueness of today's event, what I have noticed, is that there are certain field or the domain that we don't get to see people getting felicitated. Since I am from media or entertainment industry, we get to see people pertaining to entertainment or Bollywood or business, they are getting felicitated. But I saw so many ladies from different domains. I remember that physiotherapist. I also saw that lady, that mother and daughter duo. That is so inspiring. So this is very unique and I congratulate the entire team, especially Nadim and his team. And you guys are doing a wonderful job and I will pray so that, you can keep on growing each year and, cover more and more ladies from different domains. Thank you.
Well, talking to you, Maria ma'am, did you interacted with any of them? Are you excited to meet after this event to any of the tarot card reader we have? We have amazing singers, we have doctors, we have makeup artists. So whom are you excited to bump into and meet anyone after this show?
I guess I would love to meet everybody. Okay, everybody in their own unique way have established themselves. Since we are talking about break the bias, I'm saying that we are all equal individuals in this world where man and women, irrespective, we are equal individuals and we have made the mark. So hats off to all of y'all and this event especially, because it's this platform that we come across, we meet, and it's only in encouraging and it's only in we ourselves as women coming forward and encouraging and appreciating, we make a platform for others to follow too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, talking to you, Nidhi ma'am, you are here from MG Group, I would start this from you as we say hashtag break the bias. What are your takes? Does this has ever applied in your life and how was your experience? And if any of the experience which really relate to this hashtag you would like to share with us this evening to inspire us. Would you like to share some of your stories?
Good evening. So while I look at my journey over many years, now 15 years, I realize that every day is a new day. I come from a business family. I've studied family business, joined business as early as at the age of 21. Have had business in my blood because I think as a child also I would visit office in those earlier years, help dad with money management, probably some daily cause which otherwise he may need support on. So I think it just ran in my blood and I got an easy entry into the system which for many others would have been really, really difficult. But not starting from there and now, I realized my journey actually began after I entered my business. So I think that's when the acceptance, that's when the incidences, that's when the learning came in. If I talk to you about as early as 21, the minute I entered my office, I realized everybody loved me for me being the owner's daughter. But I think there was a long way for me to make them realize that I could be the one who could head this organization, could make some sense in my own little way and grow the organization. It's still a journey, by the way. I don't think I've kept up to the expectations of each and everybody out there. But coming back to her point, I've already broken the bias in my little way, continuously growing and growing, coming to a point where from one dealership to then second and third, so on and so forth, with a luxury brand as well in my forte. So given that, not getting into the nuances frankly, but yes, it's a journey that we each follow. But I must tell you all that we have already broken the biases. We are here to break it, and we're all equal, and there's no room for any stereotypes in our working, and we should work towards it. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Well, I would like to ask same question to all three of you, but as you start, I would request, ladies and gentlemen, can we have pin drop silence in the room, please? We are here to really get inspired this evening, to celebrate women, to listen to such wonderful stories. So let's just maintain silence in the room. I would really appreciate all of you. Thank you. And over to you, ma'am, please.
Now we are in a generation where we all are, as I keep on repeating myself, we all are equals. But coming from my own experience, being an entrepreneur, being in a hardcore field where men-dominant businesses are concerned, women have a stereotype to be the caregiver and men the decision makers. So when women take the part of decision makers, there is always a hitch. Whether she would take a right decision, whether she will be able to lead, whether she will be able to guide, because the conditioning that we have had all these years that women can be a caregiver, whereas the men to be the decision maker, they are the people who are the provider. They are the people who can be in charge. So when I had to take that role of being in charge, well, an extra work that needed to be done as a woman was prove myself to be in that bracket where all these qualities as a provider, as an in-charge person, as a person who can take decisions, was a hard work that I needed to work on.
Wow. So when it comes to my life, my journey, so I belong to the beautiful state of Assam. I'm sure you all are aware about Assam for its tea.
Of course.
So I came here for my studies. I did my studies from Pune. So it's like, 20 years back I came here. So as on today, I lived more years of my life in Maharashtra than my, native Assam. So during that time, it was, people used to ask me if I needed passport to come here to Maharashtra or to Pune. So there were so much of blockages and the barriers and the typical mentality that people, that inclusion was never there. So that oneness was never there. The Northeast, it is regarded to be the Far East. We were never been inclusive. Though we are part of India since the days of Mahabharata. If you know about Pragjotishpur, if you know about Princess Bhanumati, she is the wife of Duryodhan, and Bhagadatta, the king of Bhagadatta, he is the king of Kamrupa. If you know the Shaktipit Kamakhya. So we are always a part of mainland India. However, due to certain changes, I will not comment on that, but we have been kept aside as a Northeastern. And because of our typical features, though I believe I don't have that, but we have been stereotyped, we have been kept away. So I consider myself to be fortunate enough to break that and could establish myself here and sustain. So this is the story of my generation, but yet it exists as on today. So when it comes to my kids, I'm a double mom. I have a son and a daughter. My son, he is 11 years old and my daughter is 7 years. So my son, he is very fair, he is very good looking and very fair. So in my building, I stay here in Andheri, nearby, people will call him Nepali. And I got a shock of my life, like, how come you are Nepali? He was like, he was so upset and he came back home and told me, Mama, mujhe niche sab log Nepali bula rahe. I was like, what? What made them to say that you are Nepali? And he's like, make na goda ho na, I'm so fair, that's why they feel that I'm Nepali. So those kind of stereotype mentality, those kind of blockages, this is high time that we are talking about inclusion, we are talking about diversity, we are talking about oneness. But in practicality, because of our mental blockage, because of our brought up, or because of some of the other gap that is still sustaining in the society, it is taking time to accept. So and when you expect something to break or you want something to be changed, then you will have to be the change maker. So it is our responsibility to initiate this, and I'm sure everyone would join hands and contribute towards oneness.
So I just, through my entrepreneurial journey, I realized that, biases are so deeply embedded in our society, in our day-to-day life, that they often go unnoticed. We don't even realize there's a bias. There's a couple of incidents that come to my mind. I come from a traditional Marwari family, and, when I wanted to start my own business, the first question was, Arey, but you need to settle down. What about marriage? It's expected that your career and your professional life will take a back seat because you need to take care of family and you need to prioritize, certain things that are expected of you before your career. The other thing was I temporarily joined my dad's business for a bit to get some work experience, and I was never considered like a permanent phenomenon over there. I was always this temporary person who will come and then she'll get married and she'll go away. So it was, I just feel like I did not utilize my complete potential at that point of time because there was this preconceived notion. Another thing that comes to my mind, and this remains strongly embedded, is when I started Pajama Party, I wanted seed capital from my dad, and I approached him, with the business idea, and I saw some reluctance in him. It was a small amount, for him. And I saw some reluctance in him, and I realized that he wouldn't have the same reluctance if it came to spending the same amount on my jewelry or like a wedding expense. And it just got me thinking, you'll be very surprised to know that 79% of women entrepreneurs actually start businesses with their own money, with their own capital. One is because they don't have property rights, or properties here to give as collateral towards securing a business loan. And obviously even private equity or venture capitalists do not, they're a bit hesitant to invest in women-led businesses because, they're worried about the continuity of the business if the woman gets married or she gets pregnant. So these are just certain things that come to my mind as, as biases in my entrepreneurial journey.
Well, I would like to ask one small question to all four of you. Where you started and today in 2022, what is that one biasness which you have seen is really has broken down today in this time? You would like to share which you had faced during your journey, but today when you see back, it's no more there. Is there any you would like to share?
Let me begin this question. So I was just relating myself with Radhika. I think we're not far apart on experiences. So she may have thought it likewise in terms of wedding and settling down. I had similar thing also a little early in my journey. I had my first break in terms of work when I was about to get married, and that was weird. Like I was at my peak, proving myself to many of them by starting a complete new unit, doing numbers which were unheard of. And the next day I know I've been told, oh, you're getting engaged, why don't you want to take a break and walk out of this place and give it to your cousin, and you take another brand which does not need too much of you and settle down till you get married. However, you also don't know that post that you get married, you may continue or not. So given that little rejection, while in my heart I always knew there's no way I'm going to stop it. But yes, I was also in a bit of doubt, right? Life's change. So I took a step back on a winning month. And in between the month, not even getting my targets done, I had to walk out of that place and sit aside with something that was not absolutely worth my effort. Coming back, I mean, looking at the audiences, I think Mrs. Dimple, who's having a baby with her today, the gynecologist, they're taking a snap. I totally saw her and had a smile on my face. My team's right out here, and they all would agree to it, that I have two boys. One is 8 and one is 2. Believe me, my elder one is born and brought up in the office at every dealership that I have worked. I used to have crash, and I still had till like last week in 3 of my offices. I got done of them because I thought they've become independent enough to not come and work or be with me during those times. To the extent I was so insecure about people defining me as a women entrepreneur that I decided to get my 3-year-old into office and feed him my first child, literally over months till he was being fed by my milk. So I think these things are common though, but worth discussing, because it does give us confidence that it's okay to pass all of this, to become more stronger, to become more compatible, to remove the biases that we are facing and still reach the heights and not have a setback in your career. So, this is the biggest. I mean, I wouldn't have thought of actually carrying my child who's 3 months old, having him next to me, literally a window across, actually tapping the window always to check on him, having a camera on top of him, running to feed him, coming out, doing my work. And I've had my experiences there. Trust me, but I think it is worth the effort. What makes me today, like I was discussing with these women out there, that, it's the past. It's gone. We're here today. Do we sit back and condition our minds to those problems, or walk ahead and reach some other heights to prove ourselves on bigger grounds and better grounds? So that's why I was a little step back when we started, because I think we've had enough of women empowerment over years. We're already there. What we need is to give those past or leave the past behind, walk ahead with all our confidence, and trust me, it's all in our mind. Let's just remove it from there and it'll be much better a world. Thank you.
Wow, very well said. Can we have a round of applause for this, please? You have already broken out the bias, and that's the reason you all four are here at a panel.
I used to feel awkward though.
But see, you're talking about
kids around and nannies around and bossing around people. I think it was nice, but really looked funny. It was difficult to get the respect out of people, because at that time, it was time of survival. I had no option but to live up those roles, then be judged. So I think nothing is impossible. Push yourselves and we'll do better than what we expect out of us.
But see, as we can hear you out, hashtag you break the bias and you're inspiring us this evening. Thank you so much for sharing this wonderful story. I would request you, Maria, what would you like to say?
So, 2018, when I initiated this company, Gulmarg Ski Academy, and that too in Kashmir, everyone said that I'm on a suicidal mission. Being a woman, establishing an academy in Kashmir was like a total taboo, not heard, and you are definitely not being successful.
So are you, sorry to interrupt, but are you born and brought up in Kashmir? Are you from Kashmir?
I am from Mumbai.
You are from Mumbai. Then what?
I
what
am a
was the thought?
skier. That was on holiday that I went down to Kashmir, and see, even to me, Kashmir was always a taboo because we never considered Kashmir safe. It was one freak moment. I went out for a party. I saw my friends' pictures from Kashmir, and I booked my tickets and I went there. But I stayed back for 20 days. And for me, travel is just not fun, but I would love to know about people, know the place, know what it is, how it is. So when I went there, I stayed there for 20 days. I had a complete different picture of what Kashmir was. And when I came back, I said, let me initiate. Being a skier, Kashmir is third world's best destination for skiing. It is reported by CNN. And you have the best world powder snow in Gulmarg. So that is what initiated this company. Today, 2022, Gulmarg Ski Academy seems to be a known company in India. We've become the member of the Maharashtra Sports Council. And in Maharashtra, we have 4 districts where we'll be building up the sport coming up from this year, 22-23. So, being a woman and coming from, as you said, and as everyone said, I also come from a business background, from a family that protects women, and when you take such a step, it's like, oh my God. But yes, we have broken the bias, we have come here, and we have been successful. So place doesn't matter. Work doesn't matter, it's your effort, it's your commitment, and it's your constant endeavor to succeed. That's it.
Wow, truly your story inspires us. Place where people are really frightened to just to go visit and hang out. You started your business there in spite of everyone telling you not to do that. You went ahead, you started, and today you are here in 2022 running it so strongly. Hats off to you.
Thank you.
Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, so as I already said, that if you want to bring some changes, you will have to initiate it. Since I already mentioned that I am associated with a Japanese MNC, so I made it a point to appoint all the vendors to be ladies. Even for those, raw material supply or, some non-typical things where you don't usually see ladies venturing into. But, I have done so much of homework to dig or find women vendors. And as in today, all my vendors are ladies. That is one thing that at least I think that I can give it back to the society. And the second thing which, I have faced was like, after I was in times of India when my son was born, so I had to give up my job to raise my kids because I wanted to, give them time at least for 1 year so that they can be complete or content. I never wanted to put them in crash. Then I was with Hindustan Times when my daughter was born. And meanwhile, when I was in a break for one year each, I have worked in different domains. I have worked in CSR, I have worked towards sustainability, I have worked in media education and all. So I know that I have become very versatile. I know that I have knowledge of different domains, but unfortunately, because of that typical Indian stereotype mentality and typical HR mentality, they can't place me anywhere. They will wonder, ki, madam, what is your, KRA? I'm so sorry. So it was very difficult till I happened to meet my Japanese boss, like Takashima Yasusen, and he found since he belonged to all this domain, so he was the right person to take, carry forward our project for India. And that is the day I have decided to take all the ladies who wanted to start with their second innings. Even my own personal team for Bollywood Scouts, I have ladies. I go to the school for both my kids. I have seen so many, moms are there who had huge experience behind, but because of raising their kids, they had to take a break. So I urge all of them, never quit it completely. Never be off track. Go slow, it is fine, but be there. Don't leave it completely. Be there and slowly you try to come back. And as you have asked, what is the thing which has changed? So I could feel that somehow it's changing. Thanks to Tata Group who has started with second innings. Yes. Now there are many which I could see in social media, though I can't recollect the names. But people are realizing that we women, we become more versatile. We become more multitasker once we become a mom. So it is a very good sign, a very welcoming change that India is facing.
Generation to generation, time to time, work to work, we have to keep this in mind, and we have to do this because it's only we who can do this hashtag break the bias.
Absolutely.
Somewhere we need to start. Somewhere, some city, some place, some fraternity, we have to start this, and there we can go and we can strongly say, yes, we have broken the bias, and today it's no more. We have come a long way though, but that's still a lot, and that's the reason we are talking about it here this evening. To motivate someone to make, if we have any doubt about ourselves, we don't have to anyways, and we have to not forget that we are the one who will be breaking the bias soon. We are almost doing it, but now I would like to also hear from Radhika, her story, how she relates to this hashtag break the bias.
So, when I was speaking about my journey, I think I've made a conscious effort to actually go and try and break that bias that I faced, during the time that I started working. One was a conscious decision to make sure that Pajama Party is an all-women's team. It's completely run by women. It's a complete women team. The other thing,
it's trending also today, Pajama Party. Everyone has that.
Yeah, thank you. The other thing, and I think it's an age-old bias, and I feel extremely proud of breaking it. I'm a very hard negotiator, so I will go and get the best deal and the best price for my business. And how women are, they're thought to be soft and not as aggressive. So that's a bias that, it's my mission to break it, with my negotiation.
We are God-gifted, I feel sometimes, because we do it so well. The person next to us, he gives up, but we don't.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, did you want to... Also, I feel that in any business, right, I think the success is kind of defined by not just a person's practical skills of making difficult decisions the focus, but also a sense of empathy. And I think as women, we bring both to the table. So I guess, we're such a great combination of IQ and EQ that we're anyways, breaking that bias, entrepreneurially speaking. So that's another way that I think, I'm kind of contributing towards the hashtag. And lastly, and I think this is really important, I feel financial, legal, and digital knowledge and upgradation and keeping yourself updated as a woman is extremely, extremely important. I think financially, just to understand your, investments and be financially independent, so to have relevant knowledge. From a legal point of view, just knowing what your rights are, what you're entitled to, what basically just your legal rights. I think that's really, really important. So you should be updated on it, and that's what I consciously try to do. And we live in this digital age, so I feel like it's an absolute must, and that's what I stick to doing. So these are 3 ways that I feel like I'm breaking the bias.
You want to go ahead?
Well, thank you so much for sharing some inspiring stories with us. Thank you so much. Can we have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, you would like to say something?
Yeah, I am a mother too. So when I say break the bias, I have my 14-year-old daughter who is present with me. I have started this company 2018. I had to travel. 15 days a month I used to be in Kashmir and 15 days in Mumbai. It is a hard journey. But trust me, she partnered with me. She's a gorgeous girl. I believe that we have also broken the bias that mothers should be always around, but I think mothers should be connected to the children emotionally, in all ways. It is not necessary that you need to be physically around, but your connection should be more beyond being physically there. So as a mother, if you've taken a back seat thinking that, no, this would be a bad influence on my children, I think me and my daughter have broken that bias that it is definitely a good influence to have a working mother, a hard-working mother, because that's how we can teach the children the importance of hard work, how much it is to be committed, and it's not easy. Nothing comes easy. So definitely my daughter, Disha, she's 14-year-old and my partner in crime.
How sweet. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, all four of you, for talking your heart out, talking on such an interesting topic, break the bias. Thank you for breaking the bias. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing such an inspirational story with all of us. It's a pleasure having you four with us here tonight.
I would
Yes.
want to still summarize one thing because I thought we were very personal about ourselves. Coming back to corporate life, us at MG and also we as GMG group, we have broken a bias of having women in a large number and not just as employees but as senior management. I think many of my pillars of my organization which helps me to grow today are all women, literally all young women having kids who must be in the age between 5 and 15. So I think we also not just want to break the biases personally, but also help others to break the biases and grow along. So I think that's also very important that as we go, we should take more women along, and that's going to make it a better world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, with this, I would request Suman Agarwal to please join me on stage to felicitate our four panelists. Can I have you on stage, please? Well, meanwhile, right now I have these beautiful ladies with me on stage. I would also request, there's a small request that I got a few minutes ago. Rashi Roop Lakshmi, she's a tarot card reader, TEDx talker, author of the book